someone works diligently at a desk, writing and flipping over and grabbing a book and taking a sip of their drink. The calculations are almost complete. They know it. They're close. They haven't quite figured it out, but they are close. And then they stand up and accidentally knock over a book and it tumbles. And as they bend down to pick it up, they pick the book up upside down. And they think for a minute. And then they turn their head. And they twist and they lay upside down on their desk. And they look at all the things hanging on their wall. And two of them stand out. It was backwards. But not everything. Only certain parts. I get it now. And he sits up and turns. Then stands up and walks towards those papers and flips them. And begins chalking out over all of it. There's no time to test. There's no time to question. When genius strikes, you have to work. And as they etch and scratch and work, the circle is complete. And they laugh as it begins to glow. And they vanish. Now, we jump back to our story, where Dr. Raphael Lorcan, 20-year veteran of Gravvicon, has just stepped back inside the house, this cabin in the woods, as Gravvicon sent you on a solo mission, as they often do, to investigate this cabin and the strange inhabitants of it. When you arrived, there were 4 individuals who rushed in, and you came just a moment behind them. And as you entered this cabin, a tiefling, a drow, and a half-elf, and a human were discussing something with the 3 inhabitants of the home. After you assisted them mildly in order to figure out why this home was trapped in a loop, you recognized familiar energy that might be tied to Gravvicon or something of the sort. And as you dispelled the magic, it freed the inhabitants of this home. Now, after discussing things and looking over the folks who were here, the 3 members that were in here originally, the old man, Heretic Portvane, the elven woman, Alunan, and that interesting fellow with the fangs who strolled off, Amir. If your mission was complete, they would have retrieved you by now. But something interesting about those 4, they use the word Gravvicon a lot, and they seem to operate as if they understood things that you wouldn't expect regular common folk to understand, seeing as you're a member of this organization. And we'll leave it at that. As they have headed off towards the city, one of them began running, and they darted off.
Raphael would note them leaving, and he would wait for a moment. Galileo flies over to his shoulder. Now that's strange.
What is it?
I had a simple mission, and that mission has been complete, and now there are 1, 2, 3, 4 others who have come as well. Why would they send 2 different entities, 2 groups to the same location?
I've, in all our years, not quite recalled a situation like this.
And the fact that I haven't left yet, that makes me wonder, perhaps my mission wasn't this anomaly. Perhaps my mission was them. or they have something to do with my mission. We all know how they like to talk in riddles.
We were to inspect the inhabitants of the home.
But
Perhaps it counted as them.
exactly, to inhabit doesn't necessarily mean to live. And now they have inhabited this place.
Shall I take to the skies, investigate?
That would be smart, yes. I'll trail behind. I don't want to dismay them from their doings, but perhaps I need to keep a watchful eye on them.
And are you outside at this point, or where?
Yeah,
where
I would have stepped outside, like out of the door, probably on the steps, just kind of watching the way they came.
And then Galileo would soar up into the sky and fly ahead to look.
And I'll wait a moment and then I'll begin to walk that direction as well.
Okay. And about a minute later, Galileo flies back to you and comes soaring in at a speed and lands hovering right in front of you. There is something very strange about the area.
In what way?
It is not as we left it, but an hour ago. It is far more advanced, as if things have changed in quite a short amount of time.
As if time has been forwarded, as if the anomaly has gone past this place.
It would appear something of the sort. I did spot the group inside, kneeling, talking to a child.
Let's continue. I don't believe we'll find much over here.
All right, and Galileo will lead you towards the city of Bramble. And Galileo leads you into the city and can be your eyes and ears as you enter. And as you approach the city, you're right. Galileo's right. There is a change. There are now a guard post out front. The road leading in is a little cobblestones now, like it's been redone. And there is a sign that says Bramble on it that wasn't here when you first arrived by yourself. And Galileo tells you that they were down the street and in the center of the town, kneeling and speaking with a child for a bit.
Did you hear anything they said?
I did not get close enough to hear, but from a bird's eye view, I can track them.
He nods, and you see him just kind of just processing and looking around and trying to take all this information in. Actually allows Galileo to fly up.
Okay. And if you are you proceeding into the town?
Yeah.
Okay. And as you walk, make a perception check real quick.
That is a 21.
Yeah. So as you walk by, there's one guard talking to another guard, and he's like, "Yeah, no, this group walked in, and he was just like, and I don't even know why. He just like cast something on me. Like I felt pretty good, but like I don't even I fucking hate magic kids."
Sorry, somebody cast it on the kid, or the kid cast it on somebody else?
No, sorry. The guard is saying that someone cast magic on him, and he's talking to another guard saying this group of 4 that walked in, one of them cast something on him, and he's aware of it.
Gotcha. Note, they are using magic publicly, which isn't a problem, but if they have Gravvicon, they know that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Everything they do has a consequence, and according to time. So let's figure out why they are willing to reveal themselves in some way.
Excellent. And as you make your way into town, Galileo directs you around a corner, and passing you is a boy that Galileo telepathically connects to you and says, "That is the boy." But up ahead, and you can see the group of them at this point standing at the stairs of a church as some woman drops a bunch of books and looks and grabs Bucket, the half-elf that you recall, and drags him inside. And that's where we'll jump over to you for, as you were just grabbed, Bucket, and Stara pulls you inside of the church and said, "Follow me," as Bucket has just introduced this concept of what is this symbol. And Stara was like, "Oh." And as she's walking, she's talking to the group of you. Do you all follow?
Yes.
Okay. So Stara pulls you in and starts walking you through the church and is talking back to you. And I didn't think that many other people even cared, but especially people who don't seem from around here. But that's okay. That's perfect. More people with an idea on this is marvelous. And she rushes you down some stairs and passes some people. And as you round the corner, you end up down on the lower levels of this church. And she takes you through and past to what looks like down here might be some storerooms or things of the sort. And she twists the handle and pops it open and steps inside of a room that you can only imagine is her quarters or her office, as there are images just nailed up on the wall, and there are sketches of that cat and just scrawlings of the symbol all throughout this room. And there are books opened and stacked, and there are words broken apart, and there is Gravvicon written on things. And she turns to you and says, "So, when did you first encounter the symbol?" And she directs that at Bucket.
Well, I'd love to tell you. Not really. But would you elaborate on how you came upon the symbol? Because we'd really love to know.
Oh, yes. So here I was, walking about my business, taking a trip out of the town to help get some more supplies for the church, and I saw a sign, and it had a picture of a cat, and I tried to redraw it and bring this back into memory, but there was a symbol, and as you can see, I was able to redraw that. I can draw the symbol from memory, but I can't tell you what it is. Frankly, no one can. No one seems to be able to remember what it means at all. And not just as if it's a made-up thing, as if they're not allowed to. It's the most bizarre thing.
And just to confirm that we're not talking about the symbol, it's not this symbol, this S. It's not this symbol that no one knows the meaning of, right?
No, that's. I'm going to.
I hate it here. I hate it here. This is the bad place.
Okay. Does Gallagher show her that line drawing of an S?
Yes, he does.
Roll a d20, no modifiers.
I hate it here. I hate it here. Why is this even happening? Why?
Is it entirely possible my entire childhood is about to be explained in this moment?
That's a 4.
So stupid.
Okay. So, as you do that, you ask, "Is it this symbol?" And you show a symbol from your homeland. And you suddenly have a memory. And as you do this, you have a memory that when you walked into town, you actually saw that symbol here too now. In your brain, that was here as it was part of a stylized part of script that they were using. It was just part of their actual calligraphy. And as you've done that, she was like, no, that's an S. As you have just introduced something from another realm here and altered something.
Gallagher just just like reattaches his brain, I guess, and goes, "Oh, my apologies. I guess I'm not entirely literate then."
I'm gonna turn towards him and I'm gonna go like, we all make mistakes in the heart of passion of Gallagher.
And yes, all of you now recognize that as just an S, especially Taika and Bucket. You could draw it. It's in you were taught that symbol as a unique S for when you're talking about something royal.
Taika, we're cool kids. We're the cool kids.
Oh, yep. Nailed it. That symbol has it means
Yeah, go
something
ahead,
to us
Stevie.
now.
God. The
No,
fact
you're
that
good.
I have to draw this into my notes now. Skip it.
Question:
Yeah.
Did anything change outside with that symbol once it was revealed? I would note.
Yeah. So make a perception check when this happens.
Because right now he has no natural 20. He has
Oh,
no reason to go into the place for 25.
Yeah. So for that natural 20 for a 25 of perception, as you're walking and sort of perhaps observing from a distance, you note a couple of things. As the boy walks away, you see around the area a quick shift in some of the architecture and a quick shift in some of the lettering on things. And one of them is over an armorer's shop, and it is Royal Metals, and the S at the end has changed to a symbol that you have seen in another realm when you were out on a job, and that just suddenly changed before your eyes, and you witnessed that what you're used to is a time anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
And ahead of you, you also see a hooded figure who you recall from inside the house, a mirror, leaning against the house just outside of the church, kind of tapping their foot and just kind of waiting. And right across from them is Plague, the cat that you recall the half-elf summoning. And the cat is sitting outside as well. And they're across from the church, but like looking at it, waiting.
Okay. With that, I would say, come back to me, Galileo, and I'll begin to walk towards the church.
Okay. And Galileo swoops down and perches on your shoulder, and you're able to approach the church. And as you come up the stairs, there are books kind of scattered all over where that woman like didn't even bother picking up her book. She grabbed them and rushed them inside. And as you step in, there is not many people moving about right now, but you're in like a big open entrance with a hallway to the left and a hallway down the stairs to your right.
Well, one, and now, which is actually going to be two. One, I think Katie had something to say. I didn't want to give you.
Oh
that
no,
chance.
you go ahead. When we go back into the room, I have a thing I want to do.
Okay.
Okay. Then a side question: did Amir look weird as I'm going through? Is he like waiting? Do I think he's waiting for the group? Is he just standing there? Does he have like his own motives? As I'm passing?
Yeah, he definitely looked, because you got that perception with that Nat. He looks bored, like he's just like chilling against this. He's definitely looking over like everything. He's definitely looking at everything and just taking it in. And with that, Plague the cat is just like sitting there, and he keeps looking at the cat. So yeah, he definitely seems like waiting.
You're gonna hear Plague a lot because a certain familiar mind is being loud right now. Cool. Then the second part is, can I tell which way they went when they walked inside?
They were all dragged inside. From where you're at, you can't quite tell.
You said there was a way going down and there was a way going over. Sorry.
Yeah. Yep. Stairway down to your right, and left is down a hallway that looks like it opens up towards like the actual like worship area.
I'm gonna go down the steps.
Okay. Yeah. And you find your way down the steps, and as you get down there, it's not a huge place, so you're able to go down a level, and up ahead you see the backs of the people you're looking for as they're packed inside of what looks like a small room at the end, which will now jump to you all. So back inside the room, yeah.
As the symbol is revealed, and you said earlier, like, this office is covered in like posters and maps and, you know, like, I assume a lot of yarn tied to different things.
Very much.
Okay, it's very important that there's yarn. But can I roll a perception check to see if Proxima notices anything like physically on the wall shifts once that symbol is revealed?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay.
You can all roll a perception check.
Guys, I think we're focusing too much on the S symbol and not about the actual symbol.
Okay. Well,
just a thought. Just a thought.
I want to tease a thought. I got a 13.
I got a dirty 20.
Perception, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's a 14.
Okay. And for Gallagher?
That is a 27.
So Gallagher and Taika for sure see it happen. What I'll give Bucket and what I'll give Proxima is you look around the room and you see the symbol on those maps, and there's definitely a moment of, was that there before? But the two, Taika and Gallagher, watched it shift.
Gallagher immediately closes his book that he wrote it on. He goes, never mind. I must have just been... And he immediately just has like a sense of like, what have I done?
Glaring daggers.
Something very evil. I look at Taika. I'm just like,
and what is Proxima had a question or a thought here about that though. And she has now noticed it around the room.
Yeah, Taika, are you all right? You see, Gallagher, are you all right?
Oh yeah, just you know, the air's tense.
This mission's a little harder. This thing we're doing is a little harder than I anticipated it would be.
It's just maybe this is silly. Maybe this is just silly. But I am looking at these maps on the walls, and I do not think that was there before. And I think that maybe you know that was not there before. Yes?
What are you talking about?
Are we saying this in front of the person? What's her name again?
Yeah. I'm saying this specifically in front of the person.
I'm just gonna
listen, Proxima, everyone, maybe we should leave this for another time because there are certain parts of our business that are confidential.
And she leans forward, and the woman goes, "So you've seen it too? You've seen the little things that shift, that change, that whoever they are." You've seen them do it.
What do you mean by they?
And she starts rifling through things. So it was a thing. Why could I not remember something? I read so many books. I read so many. And if I haven't read it, I can find it. I can go to the capital city, or I can go somewhere and I can find it. Why wouldn't I be able to find it?
What are you trying to find?
The symbol. What does it mean? This is a thing. Yes. Why don't I know it? Why can't I read it? Why won't my brain allow it? I've tried to dispel it with mages I've found that have worked on it. I've tried to find... It's as if something interesting is missing. And I have proof. And she grabs a book and she starts rifling through. And she says, this here. And she shows you a copy of something. And it's written in common. You can read sections, and it's talking about great wars and interesting factoids about deities and like fun little stories and like what the god of Forge is favorite tool is. And then there's something in here written that is just illegible. The ink isn't smeared. The words aren't in a different language. You're looking at them and you can't comprehend it.
Could I pull from the context of the page to, I guess, kind of infer what it's about? Because obviously I can't understand it.
Yeah, give me an intelligence check there.
Just straight intelligence?
Yep.
That is
I guess-
a 17.
Okay,
Nice.
excellent. So with that 17, you are looking at it, and it was talking about the God of Forge, and it was talking about the interesting tools and weapons that they've designed and things they've used them for, or things that they have designed for other deities. And then it talks about that sometimes items of theirs have been used for negative repercussions. And these are just stories, about the deities. And then the section that talks about it, there is one that was like, once a spear was stolen from the God of Forge's armory, and it was actually one of the tools used to kill a god of knowledge. Then there was a ring that was lost into the material plane, and someone got a hold of it and commanded part of a country for a while until they recognized, oh shit, we lost that into the material plane, and it was recovered. And then there is, and you just can't read it.
Okay, so the spear obviously represents the pointy stick, and the ring obviously represents the circle. So I guess I'm going to turn towards everyone else. I'm like, you're reading this, right? You understand this. If they don't know,
It's like there's a third item that was roughly mentioned in the book, but there's no way you have to understand why or what is missing in these texts. But you can't read about that third item.
You said, Stara, you said that there was maybe a book or something in the capital city that you have been looking for. Is that right?
No. I read a lot of books, and so I should be
Really?
able to comprehend certain things. And if I can't, I can always find a book that will help me do so.
Right. Wait.
I can't find anything that will read this. I can't find anything that elaborates on why this is missing, but other things have gone missing too. Like, you can see it, can't you, my friend? That section. You don't know what it says, do you? No one does. There's no one. Everyone just glosses over it like it doesn't matter. Like, the fact they can't read it isn't suspicious. Like someone isn't changing history.
Has the doctor come up on us yet? Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
No, you go.
Yes. So yeah, this has definitely been enough talking that, Raphael, you have the opportunity to enter this room.
I've been thinking about it, and he's waiting.
Okay.
Can I sense my blind sense?
How far back are you staying?
How long is the hallway?
So it's a 50-foot hallway, and they are at the room that's at the very end, all packed inside. You're at the base of the stairs, at least to start.
With my passive of the 15 for perception, how close will I need to be for that to kick in? To listen. Because that's how close I would be.
Okay. I would probably put you to actually listen, because they're muttering, but she's talking. You could hear her sort of partway down the hallway, but I'd probably put you about 30 feet in at least, or 30 feet from them, to hear some of what they're saying.
Cool. And I know he's not necessarily hiding, he's just waiting.
Yeah.
So he just
Cool.
Okay.
All of you can kind of roll a perception check just to see if you sense him.
Oof. That's a 10. The
Ooh,
2
yeah.
to a
Got 24.
That's a
7.
2 from me.
Okay, so Taika, you happen to just hear like a footstep, because again, he's not hiding. You just happen to hear it, and you turn and you notice the man from inside the house who helped you escape by dispelling the magic is now standing in the hallway observing with the owl on his shoulder.
And I kind of just butt in. Guys, there's that guy that helped us escape. He's right behind us. I didn't hear him come up. I just noticed him. I don't know how long he's been there, but if he helped us escape, maybe he can read that page.
I guess Bucko will look up like, oh, you. What's your name? Sir, your name?
I don't respond well to snapping.
I'm sorry. I'm just trying to remember. Are you smart? You seem smart.
I think what my friend Bucket here is trying to say is that he is not very smart, and we require your assistance. And if
Yes,
you wouldn't
about
mind
that
telling
much.
us their name.
I'm going to look past them towards the individual who's been rambling. How do they seem to me?
To you, she is very excitable about the topic, and you've overheard her saying some stuff. You've heard words like someone changing history, and
Mhm.
they don't want us to know. And yeah, you're hearing these kind of key words.
I blame Corso. No, this is okay. 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 I will. This is bad. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to walk and I'm going to walk closer to them, and kind of look at all of them, and then. You need my assistance to do what?
Oh, Gallagher's gonna gesture for the book with the symbol that we all can't read. And be like, well, it seems as though for some reason or other, whether it be illiteracy or loss of memory or whatnot, we all can't read this here symbol, this eye with a trident sticking up into it. We've figured it means something about destruction and gods, but that together it means. So if you, with your mystical magicalness, could potentially read it, that'd be very convenient. But I don't know.
I'm gonna walk past them towards her and say, and why do you want to know about this information?
When something is unknown, it gnaws at the brain. It makes you want to know more. And wouldn't it be strange if someone could just remove something, to just make it not exist?
It would.
And I think that's what these chess pieces do. I've heard of them mentioned.
I take my quarterstaff and hit her in her temple. I'm trying to. So
What?
She said the I was trying to get away from it. She said the wrong thing. But what I'm trying to do is hit a part that's going to make her forget for a moment.
Okay. You know what? Okay, you're trying to stun her. You're trying to make her forget this instance.
Like hit her in her temple, whatever. Cause I wouldn't. I am not a fighter, of course.
Yeah.
However, I would
Do you
know.
have any magic or anything we can tether? Have you used up your portent or your chrono shift?
Unfortunately, I have.
Okay,
We haven't rested yet.
Okay, real quick, offbeat, what'd you say?
Could I, like, as a reaction, just hearing chess pieces and seeing Doc's reaction, could I, like, use my reaction to make a weapon, just a punch Stara in the gut and activate stunning strike to potentially help her forget?
Fuck you guys.
Okay. Yeah, so Doc, what I want you to do is I want you to you're gonna roll to hit with advantage because this is all surprise. But what I want you to do is make an arcana check, is what this will be. To you sort of using your temporal ability as like a time wizard, trying to be like, let's rewind.
I'll take that.
So you've got an arcana check. I'm gonna make it 15 to knock that.
I'm sorry. Yeah, that you said advantage. Yeah, that's a 26.
Okay.
Let's go.
So yeah, you're gonna like, and just like with that, just a remnant of time energy, you're just, it's not even like erasing thoughts. It's just like blanking the last like 10 seconds and just like disconnecting that, just a hair. But at the same time, in comes Gallagher with a gut punch, which is also an attack at advantage.
That's a 17.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna hit. And then you're going to tack on a stunning strike.
Yes. So that
And
is a DC 15. No, 16. DC 16.
All right, well, this is a goddamn commoner, so I'm just going to roll a die. That is a
Non-lethal.
natural 1.
No.
She's stunned.
You killed her. You killed her. She's dead.
No.
Oh my god.
I'm doing non-lethal, so this
You
would
killed
be
the
at best
MacGuffin.
Oh my
Concho.
God.
And so immediately Doc Lorcan is just like, forget that, and Gallagher is just like, "Sue." And
You're gonna forget a lot more than just that.
she just drops as you have wiped her mind and dropped her at the mentions of Gravvicon. Everyone, make a perception check.
Before I do that, can I cast Shield of Faith on Stara?
Yeah, sure, for 100%.
17.
Why are we fighting? Why are we fighting?
10.
I don't know.
From the top.
Okay.
The TK.
God.
Oh,
That's a knocked out.
I think
Stara.
about these chess pieces. Wow.
You said it was
Alright.
perception, right? That we were rolling.
yes, everyone's rolling a perception check.
16.
Okay. 15.
10.
I rolled I think it was a 17. I accidentally exited out of the page, so I think it should be in the records.
Okay, yeah, 17. And what do we get for Doc?
I said 17, sorry.
17. And what do we get for Gallagher?
10.
Okay, so Gallagher, the only one who misses it, as you punch and you can maybe catch her or whatever, but you're preoccupied for just a split second. And as soon as Doc's wand collides and your weapon stuns her, the rest of you noticed a faint energy in the room that you didn't even recognize had been building up as she was talking. Something was sort of amassing, and as soon as she was struck, it faded away. And it kind of reminded you a little bit of that moment right before you all poured it into this realm. And the energy near her backs off.
Can we look at the book? Can we look at the cat book?
Yes.
All right, I'll pull out the cat book. And
Y'all, the cat book. Okay, what's going on in the cat book? That's the first move.
And so the last pages you saw were that 4 strangers, as it's always been, went on to help the cat Gravvicon. And they checked in with a witch inside the forest who did not know where that came from. Then they headed into a town. And inside that town, they encountered a small snake. And the snake led them to a larger snake. And the larger snake had words with them. But there is a panel in between the small snake and the large snake now. And it is a panel showing Gravvicon claws out, pouncing down on someone, and another member grabbing the cat by the scruff mid-air and setting Gravvicon down, as 5 people now question the book.
So I see that we're not the only ones here who know what's going on.
Gallagher's gonna look to Doc and put 2 and 2 together and be like, Gravvicon.
That's not the question you need to ask. The question is, what exactly are you all doing here?
Well,
I'm
we were given an obtuse mission, and we are now investigating a symbol that was present on a pamphlet roughly 5 years ago, and that led us here.
Does that mission involve changing things to fit your needs?
were not really given that much description as to what the parameters of our mission was.
But you were giving the parameters of what Gravvicon is, correct?
More or less, so you are Gravvicon.
And you know that when you are a part of Gravvicon, you are not to change what is in a certain place. But there could be ramifications that might not be visible to your eyes, but will be visible regardless.
More or less.
And now there's a symbol that has appeared outside that I know I've seen in a different realm, at a different time, at a different point in time, and now it is here. And I assume it wouldn't have been here for individuals who apparently have a mission. Wouldn't have been here if it wasn't for them.
While they're
Okay.
bullshitting around, Proxima is like on the ground medicing this librarian. Like she is checking, she's making sure that she is okay. She's making her like Proxima is like so angry that she can't even talk right now. She's just like, what the fuck is going on? And she's just like helping.
Yeah.
And
Bucket?
while they're all doing this, Buck is going to be looking around the room, see if he can find anything that he could piece together about the spear and the ring and anything else that might, like the other item that might, anything that he can gather at this point.
Yeah. Okay. So what we'll do first is we'll jump over to Proxima. Are you going to use any magic, or are you just going to be attending to her? That'll just tell me what kind of check we're doing here.
What is like her status? Is she like passed out? Is she like looking bloodied? Like what's going on?
So with a hit from Doc and with a stunning strike from Gallagher, she's been incapacitated.
Okay.
Definitely got a good punch there, but as Gallagher was particularly going for non-lethal and is opting to kind of pull back, we're just going to say that it was just the stunning that sunk in. And so she was like hit and then dropped. And the second hit is what like dropped her. You don't really know what the first hit did, but she was struck upside the head. And so she's just unconscious, but she's breathing and yeah.
Okay, then in that case, I'm just gonna like make her comfortable. Like I'm just gonna like check her head, make sure she's not like bleeding anywhere, and just kind of like, she's Proxima. Like it's honestly busy work because Proxima is just so angry she needs something to do while all this is going on.
Gonna make a roll here. Okay, yeah. So she is doing mostly fine. There are some abrasions alongside, like a pretty good bruise there, and if she's wearing like a gown, but you can assume that there's probably going to be some bruising right there, right at the solar plex area. But like, it definitely seems like your counterpart's held back. So that was the extent of that.
Cool.
Okay, Danny, over there trying to look around, would you make an investigation check as you're trying to look through everything?
That is an 18.
Okay. So you're trying to piece together more stuff. And as you investigate, you come across, again, she's got that page sort of rewritten out by hand. And she's tried to handwrite out that third section to see if that did anything different. And it looks like she was able to mimic the symbols. It's like if I showed you the word apple, but you didn't know that that was a word, instead just saw it like an art piece. The words were just lines. You could mimic the lines, like tracing over it, but it's still not a word. And they still written somewhere else. It doesn't matter how it was done. That section is not, it's almost like it's not allowed to be read.
All right, well, I guess I'll take the book that she was showing us, like her notebook with everything in it, and I guess I'll pocket all of those, and I'll try and piece. I guess I'll keep taking anything that is important or anything that has to do with what we can't understand, I guess.
Yeah, and you find that there are definitely several little things here and there where you come across a moment where you're reading a passage that's up there, and she's cut it or circled it, and you can read the first part of the sentence, and then there's a word that's just like gone. Or you're reading the history and anthology of this, and this section you're just like missing. They're all kind of bouncing around something, and it's not permitted right now.
I guess again, I'm trying to pull from context. What is the context about? At least from what I can understand.
So let me give a roll. Yeah, you beat that. There's several contexts. It looks like it's not just one thing. That image, that symbol refers to something, but you already know that you can't comprehend that. The context around these other things, like talking about the God of Forge, it almost looks like that section was talking about an item that perhaps the God of Forge made. And like it was in the section on stolen items or ones used for nefarious things. That's been deleted. And this section over here that you're reading about is talking about the long history of the shifting of the gods and some of the reasons why there was a shifting in this god or that god, and the reasonings, they're out. The reason for this is gone, and they're written plain as day in some sections. But these books look very old. These books look like some effort was done to procure these, and even in these, the context is not just one thing, but like things surrounding a thing.
Okay, so I know nothing. I know it's about something. Cool. I guess
the one thing I want to make sure I stress, just so you don't feel like, and you don't miss a thing, is all of these books have religious connotation. The God of the Forge, the history of the gods, all of these things have religious connotation.
Okay, and I know that, again, from what I've read, a spear was stolen, a ring was lost, and the spear was used. A spear was used to kill the God of Knowledge.
Yep,
and the ring was lost and used to control a nation, or at least part of one. And I know there's one more thing that we don't know, we don't understand, and we aren't able to understand. But we know that there are many things in history, ancient history, that is pointing towards this thing.
Mm-hmm.
So we know nothing.
And you know it's in the listing of items that have fallen out of the hands of the God of Forge. They've gone missing or something of that shape. So yeah, that's where.
I'll keep looking while they're talking. I'll wait till they're not talking to say anything to them.
Yeah, and so back to the conversation between Doc and Gallagher. You guys are having this moment where called it out like. You guys are fucking around with stuff, and so back to that.
Look, Doctor, I have great respect for the work that I've been revived to do. I'm new at this. Was dead for 10 years. I trained with my own ghost. I have forgotten many cordial invitations and commonplace courtesies that perhaps I maybe should be using. What I did was in any way incorrect. I will make the best corrections I can to my future course. Because maybe you can alter the past, but I cannot.
The point isn't changing what you have already done. The point is to make sure you don't make more changes. Gravvicon, if you all are a part of it, who I assume you are, you have to be careful. You all didn't note it, or maybe you did. If you were to continue talking to this individual, she would have ceased to exist, and then you would have no more information to gain. You knew too much.
I was starting to get that vibe.
Why didn't she disappear earlier? She didn't really get that much more information from us.
Time is fickle. She was learning, and with every second she was learning, it was becoming more apparent that she would need to be dealt with. You didn't learn enough. Potentially, I could thank you for that.
Well, if she knew anything, it would have been useful, because I'm learning nothing from her studies here.
You know, I have a theory. What if that symbol is not so much as a as a item, but more of a calling card. Something saying, I don't know, XYZ was here and changed history. It's a marker that indicates history was changed here.
See, that means they don't have any kind of association to Gravvicon, and that's not what the text I'm pulling from says. The text
But
says
you
it's
said-
items. Items
But
that have
what
been
if-
lost from the gods.
No, that's
he
not what
has
it's
a-
saying. It
he has
says
a
it's
point.
redacted. It's redacted. You're looking at it. You don't know what it means. You think it means item.
No one
it
knows what
means
this
redacted.
means.
Exactly.
All the context is pointing towards an item.
Can I roll an insight, or can I roll a religion check to see if there's a god of time?
Yes.
Fuck, that's a 4.
I'm going to give you so much advantage.
Okay. You want me to re-roll?
Yes.
was that
Are you verbalizing this?
Yeah, Proxima gets up and she says, there is a god of war and destruction and all of this stuff. All of this, from start to finish, has been about time. Where are the books about the god of time? How is all of this in play? What is happening? And she just started going through the books. And then I rolled
so
a
yeah.
13, which still isn't amazing, but that's fine.
Okay, so all of you roll a religion check on the idea of the god of time.
My thing for that.
The 23.
Not one. Not one. Can I roll with advantage because I'm from this universe, please?
Does this shit? I mean, I rolled very well,
You
but does
all have advantage.
Okay, so
Yes!
that was a hardcore 3. Okay, that's an
Same.
It's really
18.
good on accident. That's fine. Refreshing my
So
D&D
we have
behind,
a
this is ridiculous.
23 for
23
Taika.
for Taika.
What do
23
we?
for Doc?
23 for Doc.
18 for Gallagher.
18 for Gallagher. Bucket.
8.
8. Okay. So we'll resolve Bucket real quick. Bucket, you're from this world, and you know the name of each land, and you know that each land is named after an arcana, as in a god's arcana. And the floating continent in the floating country in the middle of this continent is the land of time and space. It is a continent that floats above the water with a massive hole to nothing beneath it. And to get up there, you have to take an airship or teleport or fly or anything except swim to it, you know? And so you know that like that means a thing. Taika, specifically from this world, you immediately recall this land's god of time, Yalkur. Yalkur. You know, yeah, there's a god of time named Yalkur. But Doc, you now also being from this world, also recall Yalkur. With a, what was the roll for Proxima and Gallagher?
Gallagher got an 18.
18. And Proxima?
Proxima does not remember, but she thinks it was like a 12 or a 13.
Okay. So Proxima,
Okay.
with a 13, you recall that there is a god of time or passage from your realm. And you try and remember sort of the name for them, and it's Reiko. Reiko, she's the god of time from where you're from. The goddess of time. And you're like, why did that take me a minute to remember? And Gallagher, where you're from, you're trying to think, is there a god of time? And you remember there being a deity that did in fact control. And at the same moment, you're all having these thoughts, and they're like, yeah, there's a land of time and space here. Yeah, the god of Yalkur. Yes, Reiko. And then you're like, no, the god of time is Liba.
My god of time's name is Liba. Why on earth would there? Why in the entire multiverse would there need to be more than one god of time? Time controls space. Therefore, if there is more than one god, it's the same person. Lipa, Raycon, this place right here, it's the same person. These items, they're not items, Bucket. It is clearly a redacted. They've just taken items. Am I big brain or small brain right now? I feel like I'm onto something.
I feel like maybe this is some big brain. Because
Gallagher's
I
gonna
think
fist bump himself.
you know what? No, here you go. I will fist bump that for you. Like
What do I, now being from this land, know about Yalkur? And specifically, what do I know about the land of time? The area. What do I know? Because he's getting thoughts.
Yeah, so the Land of Time is a unique and interesting place. It is, like I said, a floating country. It literally exists up in the air, and the happenings up there are very strange, as the capital city of the country is called Yalkur, as all of them are named after the god for the capital. And in the heart of Yalkur, there is a central pit that just things come out of. And the residents of the capital city are only high-level fighters and mages and people who push back the things that try to crawl out into this world.
when you say things come, are you talking about like chairs, or like is this like Pacific Rim?
Anything.
Okay.
It's
And
Hoarders
that's part
and
of-
Pacific Rim.
Yes, that is part of their job, is to decipher what is what.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Sometimes it's people. Sometimes it's monsters.
Okay. I want to go to there. Okay. Team, I feel like there is we are presented with a problem, right? Because right now we have options before us. The book tells us to go find this snake. But we also know there are other places, far away places, where we might get some kind of answers. But I do not want this, and she gestures to the stunned librarian, to keep happening. We cannot hurt people with our presence here. We must keep people safe. That is what I ask. So yes.
Doc turns to Proxima. You say that as if you understand Gravvicon more than any of us.
I understand Gravvicon less than all of you. I want to go home. I do not like this. Everything that this place stands for, everything that this godforsaken order stands for, goes against me, goes against my people, and who I am. But I am here because I made a promise, and I was told that if I did what they asked me to, I would get answers. That is why I am here. I do not care. I do not care about the rest of it. I want answers, and I want to go home. And so I am asking all of you. I do not care where you come from. I do not care why you are here. I do not care about your motivations. But what I care about is hurting innocent people like this woman. We could have killed her. According to you, we could have killed her. And that is not right. It is not our right to take away life that does not deserve that. This woman did not deserve that. And so we have to fix this. We have to fix our missteps, and we have to be more careful. And part of being more careful means understanding what is going on. And so I think we should go talk to the snake. That is what I think. That is what the book says. I think we go talk to the snake. I'm sorry for yelling. I got heated up.
Gallagher's gonna like lean over and look at Stara just like on the ground and be like, well, how do we know our presence won't kill the snake?
We don't, and that is the problem. That is why I am angry, because it seems like at every turn, we cannot talk to anyone without setting off some sort of butterfly effect. We cannot tell anyone anything. We have to be careful. and we have to figure out how to communicate these things that we know without hurting people.
And what's
And that is exactly why you were probably chosen or allowed to be a part of this order.
and Bucket was
Because,
about to say something?
yeah.
Bucket's just gonna keep getting shit off the walls, I guess.
Well, I do think, Proxima, you make a very good point. What if we referred to Gravvicon, the cat? We use the code words that the book is already presented for us. We use the cat to whenever we're talking about Gravvicon. What is this? Does it mention the symbol at all? Can I peruse the book and see if I can find any like analogous things for the order, ourselves, like any of that stuff?
Yeah, so you see that it describes Gravvicon the cat, and then it does say the cat a lot of other places. And when you're looking at things, it mainly just talks about the book and finding the location of the book. So it doesn't really use any analogies, you figure, but
I think the book is an analogy.
I think what we should always try and refer to our mission as returning this lost book. We should never give anything more than that, probably. That was probably my mistake in the first place. So
You did not know.
Bucket, give me... Oh, sorry, Tyker, go ahead.
You're talking about a lost book. There's been items. Are we looking for a book?
I think we have a book. And I think this might be a lost item.
Okay,
What
so
if-
hold on, Corso, what were you saying first? And then I want to try something after.
Okay, Bucket, do an investigation check for me as you're still working on the walls.
Okay,
I
investigation.
have a crazy pants thing I want to try, maybe.
Investigation. That is a 22.
Nice.
Oh, okay. So, with that 22, you're pulling things off the walls, and she has all sorts of stuff pinned in here, and it's taking you time to go through. But at some point, you get to a couple of letters that seem to come from perhaps other people she's written to discuss this anomaly. And as you're reading over one of them says, "Beware." And while that caught your attention, you begin to look into it. And this is a letter from a colleague somewhere. It's unnamed, it's unmarked. They seem to communicate without having to say who they are. But it was a warning that in the things that they've started to dig up, someone is going out of their way to hide anything and everything about whatever this is. We know it is tethered to those up above. But why would you want to erase one from our minds?
I guess I'll take the letter and be like, guys, I think someone else might be a problem now.
And so, and one thing to gather from that is they're talking about the beings up above and something about the erasure of one.
Well, I guess I'll pass it around for everyone to read, and I'll be like, take a look at this. This, I feel, adds a layer of complexity to everything.
Well, from what I can reckon, if my personal theory is correct, seems like a god might be trying to get erased. Everything referencing this god is getting redacted and replaced with a symbol that nobody can read. Everything in reference to them, their items, their weapons, their power, where they were sourced, where they're from, everything is being replaced by this symbol, and perhaps this individual was researching that and has discovered something known as the erasure. Maybe.
I will say, it sounds like we must go. Well, you must go to this land, this area.
Does it
More information will be found there.
does
At
it not
least
Does it not make sense to look at the big snake, the King Julius, the head of the serpents?
Well, in the book, the little snake took us to the big snake, and Daniel took us here. I think she was the snake.
I do not know much about this book. I don't really care to know, if I'm being quite honest. This is your mission. However, my mission now is watching you. I was not a part of your assignment. I was not a part of your return or your sending to this place. But as I am still here, my new mission is making sure you all don't go too far. I understand you don't know what to do when it comes to Gravvicon. I don't know everything, even though I've been working here, a part of this organization for a long time. I will not get in your way. I will assist in any way I must. But I will clean up the mess if a mess like this happens again. Gravvicon doesn't want people to die, but they will kill and destroy and erase to make sure Gravvicon is not found out. That is why Gravvicon is Gravvicon.
Well, after this, I'm going to take the book back, and I'm going to start taking all the papers that I have and all the books together. And this is something I want to try. I want to take one of the pages that has like the stuff incoherently that we can't read. I'm just going to slip it into the book, see if anything happens. Probably not. We'll see.
Yeah, sure. So you place that page inside the book. And as you put the page into the book, it is of a different color than the pages in this book. It's like a little more of a brown off-white. And these are stark white pages originally in the book until they color themselves with a story. And you place it in, and the page attaches itself to the book.
I'm big brain.
And then it erases what's written on it, and the page becomes white and identical like the rest, as you have just added another page into this book. You have loaded the book.
Well, that's fun.
Okay.
Our story just got a little longer, it seems.
So what are our options right now? Like what do we think is the next move?
Well, serpent, which could have been this woman or could have been someone else because David said he was part of the serpents. I don't think she was part of the serpents.
I don't think so either.
Or we could investigate Yalkur, Land of Time.
I think
Well, I think actually what Bucket's presented, if we can just add pages between the book, we can do whatever we want. Because before we go see the serpent, if we add enough pages, we could go and investigate the Land of Time. Or we could go and see the serpent now, which I believe is King Julius, head of the serpents. I'm just saying, I think we found a way to manipulate our mission for our own benefit.
Well, as we know, the Land of Time is filled with lots of fighters and people who are very skilled. King Julius might have a lot of influence if we go see this king first. Maybe we can either get him to help us or we can make him help us.
Proxima, I don't know if this is allowed, but I'm gonna try something. Okay. Yeah. Proxima turns to Taika and she says, "Would you mind lending me your cards?"
Not at all. And Taika pulls out the deck, specifically the one that he does use for Bardic Inspiration, and hands it over.
And would you say, Taika, that this is a fancy deck? Like, it's a nice deck of cards. It maybe cost, like, let's say 25 gold pieces.
At least.
Yes, of course. Okay. I'm going to cast Augury. That's what I'm going to do.
The absolute best spell. Anybody should be keeping it if you can use it. Period.
Okay. So never done this before. I have no idea how to do this. Okay.
And tell us what the spell does.
Okay. So by casting by laying out ornate cards, you receive an omen from an otherworldly entity, aka the DM, about the results of a specific course of action that you plan to take within the next 30 minutes. And the DM can choose from the following possible omens: wheel and woe, or nothing. So I am going to use augury to ask Reiko if we should go see the serpent. That is what I'm going to do. Would you like me to paint a picture with my words, DM?
Please do.
Okay. So Proxima takes the cards and she sort of shoves off a handful of paper onto this big table that is in this room. And she sits not in the chair, but on the table itself. And she lays out the cards in sort of a semicircle around her. And as she does, her hands begin to glow this sort of dark blue magic. And then one by one, the cards sort of like ping, 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 and they all light up as well. And then Proxima sort of closes her eyes and she like spreads her hands over the cards and she chooses two. And she picks them. And one is the 10 of diamonds, and the other is the Joker. I made that call, sorry, Dia. and she is sweating and she is breathing heavily, and you can tell that she is in pain doing this spell. And so she takes the two cards and she sits back, she slaps them down onto the table, and she waits.
And she sits there for a moment with nothing happening. And she focuses intently on the thought of what happens if we see the serpent. Is that a good course of action? And then a card glows on the table. And it's face down, but there's glowing coming from it.
I flip it over.
And as you flip it over, there is a massive serpent wrapped around a king of spades.
We should
And
probably go find the
this-
snake, you guys.
And this serpent is staring and moving on the card. And once its eyes lock with you, it stops and becomes a dormant card with a massive serpent wrapped around a king of spades. And then things change. As you thought to call out to Reiko, goddess of time. And as you do so, there is an image in your mind. And for a brief moment, like you're in a trance, eyes transfixed, locked with the eyes of this serpent, a hooded figure is in the room. And she turns and she looks around at the space.
Fuck.
And all of you see her. But Taika and Bucket and Doc, when you see this person, you see him with the horns of the images you recall of Yalkur. And as Gallagher sees this hooded figure, they see someone with a hood down and their shoulders with pauldrons on top. And you see Liba, the depictions of the god of time from your realm. And they're all looking around the space, inspecting it. And then they all look in a direction in unison, and you all see the same thing as they summon a weapon. And they step into a void in a battle maneuver as they advance forward towards something. And you watch as this invisible thing rashes them into the wall, and they stand up and separate into 13 figures, all hooded, and advance in that direction. And the image vanishes.
Spooky.
What did you
Y'all saw
just do,
that?
Proxima?
I don't know. I don't know if I should be very proud of myself or very embarrassed.
Was that Liba, or was that your time gods?
That was Ryko.
That was
I saw
Yalkur.
Ryko.
I am so smart. It's all the same. I saw Liba. I was right. The time god is the same god. There's no need for more than one. Time and space are the same.
But I think that maybe the thing we need to keep in mind, the gods are at war.
No, time's at war with something.
Time is at least the god of time is fighting something. They were being attacked. That you all saw it, right?
Detect magic, not a ritual, immediately.
And this room has remnants of similar magic, not as heavily as in that cabin, but you can tell there is time and conjuration magic here. But there is a big glow coming from outside of the room now. And as you turn to look at what that glow is, there is a figure, and the glow fades away as a person staring at the wall that now has a circular symbol drawn on it, and the chalk is still in their hand. They laugh. It worked!
What the fuck?
And they turn and they lock eyes with you and say, Doc? But you're dead. And suddenly, Doc, your mind splits as the original Doc memories come pouring into your brain.
What is
But
happening?
you maintain the other time stream as well that you created in that instance when you touched the time energy. And you are now a 20-year veteran who has been here in Lark the whole time. And Jeremiah Wild, the most renowned wizard of teleportation, always called Wild Jerry for his assumptions about planar and dimensional travel, has stood in front of you and called you by name. And that is where this episode ends.
No, ma'am.
No! No!
No, ma'am.
No!
How we do this?
I protest. I roll a keep playing D&D check. I got a natural 100.
Yep. With advantage.
What's his name? Wild Jerry?
Jeremiah Wild, aka
I like-
Wild Jerry.
I like Wild Jerry. I like that name.
It's a classic Wild Jerry move.
Wild Jerry! Oh, that's Jerry for you.
You are the only one of the group, and this is like I won't like say too much so I don't like remove it from the podcast or whatnot. But yes, you are the only one. No one else just got memories about you or anything. They still remember you're new to them. You
Question.
remember you're not.
Question.
Oh,
Yeah.
So do we know? Does Taika or I know Wild Jerry? Again, he's like the best, like planar shifter in our world. We might know something, right? Anything, please.
Not your world.
I'm
he's not
flailing
from this.
for anything.
He's not
There's
from this
nothing.
world.
I
Yeah.
have nothing. I can't read. I don't know who this is. We're all illiterate.
Oh man, I am so excited with where this is going. And yeah, chat, I am pleased to introduce Wild Jerry to you. I'm excited to get into more of that next week. But guys, if you haven't put two and two together yet, there's always a prologue, and there's always an end credit scene. So let's do that now.
Oh no.
Samuel L. Jackson's gonna come out and recruit Wild Jerry to the Avengers.
Inside the crown room, 13 seats sit empty. Not a soul to be found. And then, in the heart of the room, a shift, a flicker, a bolt of lightning coming from the center of nowhere, and a space begins to open up. And then we see a thing manifesting from the ground up. First, 4 legs begin to climb up. Then the base and the seat. Then the back of a throne. And then the feet begin to appear on a creature as it manifests sitting cross-legged in the chair, hands together, fingertips touching, as a 14th chair in the center of the 13 has appeared. And this being looks around at the absentness and the emptiness of the room. And it slides out of its chair. As if it's unfamiliar with walking, it collapses. And it pushes itself up with such force that it slams into the ceiling. But it doesn't fall. It just hovers. And righting itself now, it descends. And looking at the chairs, it begins to name Reiko, Liba, Gravvicon, Yalkur, and it begins to name the entirety of the 13 seats. And then it looks at its own hands. And it says, I have awoken. And in 13 different points of space and time, hooded figures stop, frozen in place. And they all look as they too can sense it.